people think of dogs as their best friends, and the fact that we live with them so closely means that we get to know them pretty well. But sometimes our furry friends can act in ways that are surprising, beguiling, or downright mysterious.
Do you know how your dog responds to people, children, and other dogs? Does your dog seem friendly with relaxed eyes and soft wiggly body and tail wagging? Or does your dog's tail tuck? Do they bark and lunge? Do the hackles come up on their back? If your dog expresses these behaviors, it's probably best to consult a reward-based dog trainer for assistance. A fearful dog isn't safe to introduce to any person or animal. The benefits gained by learning how to relieve their stress will go a long way towards awesome introductions. Your dog will thank you. I promise. If you're lucky enough to have a dog who is well-mannered, confident, and enjoys social interactions, this video is for you.
So usually I suggest to start your puppy training as soon as you get your puppy, and up to about 4 to 6 months, it's a puppy training period.
How long does it take to train a dog? Potty training is an important step in training your dog. Training a puppy to pee outside takes 4 to 6 months on average, but it can be a lot quicker if you are very consistent about taking your puppy outside every few hours. Some puppies can be potty trained in as little as 2 weeks.
How can we manage our dog's behavior while we're dealing with the digging problem? So, some things would be not to leave your dog unattended when they're outside, to confine them to an area where they can't dig, to keep a close eye on them, those types of things. You're managing the behavior while you're dealing with it. The second step to the MUT method is what's the underlying problem? And this is where it really helps with a behavior problem like digging. So think about it for a second. Why would my dog be digging in the backyard? Is it breed specific? Terriers are notorious for digging. So is it breed specific? Is the dog hot? He's trying to get cool? Is the dog frustrated because he can see another dog and he can't get to him, so he's digging? Is the dog bored? He's just hanging out in the backyard by himself, and because he's so bored, he starts digging a hole? Has the dog been watching me doing some digging? It's called alliomimic behavior. If the dog observes and does the same behavior, that can happen when it comes to digging.
The first element of puppy potty training that we need to talk about is supervision. Now, you've heard me talk about supervision in other puppy potty training videos on our channel, but if you're doing everything else right and your puppy's still having accidents on the floor, then it's time that we get focused on giving them good information. For your puppy's sake,
and for your sake.
That means that even if you just had your puppy out for a pee, but they're still occasionally having accidents in the house, when you come back inside, you need to have your eyes on them 100% of the time. If you aren't able to supervise your puppy, then just put them in their crate.
Teaching your puppy to come when called is one of the most important behaviors you can teach your dog. Having a dog who can be trusted off leash and come reliably just makes life with a dog much more enjoyable. The easiest way to teach this is by using a food item to lure a dog over.
In a multiple dog household, it's key to work with each dog separately. So today we're going to focus on Gus. We're going to use desensitization with a counter-conditioning technique to get the barking under control. We're going to knock on the door, starting with a light knock at first, and immediately reward Gus with a treat if he doesn't bark. As the training session continues, Gus will get less and less excited by the knocking.
Puppies are playful bundles of energy, and nipping may be a part of who they are since they use their mouths for exploring. At some point, your adorable puppy may give you a nip. And while it may seem cute and harmless at first, it's important to stop that behavior before it gets dangerous. Our training method uses verbal cues. Say ouch in a disappointed tone and stop playing if your puppy nips at you. You'll be communicating to him that his excited play and nipping puts an end to playtime. No playtime is a strong incentive for a puppy to rethink his behavior. Keep reacting with an ouch cue, even to small nips. If he nips when you're petting or playing with him, try to redirect his focus with a puppy toy or chew toy.
This is step one, and this is the most important part of all stopping bad behaviors. It's triage. Stop the bleeding before you can start working on the patient. It's a classic example of a leash-reactive dog, an aggressive dog, in any bad behavior. And you hear me talk about this all the time. First, you have to stop the unwanted behavior. Then you go to step two, which is massive amounts of rewarding for what you want.
If your dog jumps up to greet or to get attention, instead, set the standard for them that 4 paws on the ground is what actually works to get the things they want. When you first come home, only greet your dog once he has all 4 paws on the ground. If it's someone else coming in the door, you can put a harness and a leash on your dog before you open it up to let that person in, and only let your visitor greet your dog once your dog is nice and calm with those 4 paws on the ground. You can also use a baby gate to keep your dog from rushing up to you in all that flurry of excitement, and instead you can approach your dog.
Every time you take your dog for a walk, you have 2 opportunities to communicate to your dog that you want him to be calm. The first is when you put on the leash, and the second when you go out the door. Most dog owners that have an excited dog will just fight to put the leash on and then rush out the door, allowing the dog to go through the door first. We recommend that you don't put your dog on the leash when he is in an excited state. Pick up the leash and simply stand still for a moment without talking to your dog. Wait until your dog calms himself and then put on the leash. With the leash on the dog, stand quietly for a few moments, and then walk into the house, away from the front door. Walk back and forth to the door and away from the door until the dog is following you rather than pulling you towards the door.